We have studied the account payable accounting. We have gone through the theory part of the account payable accounting. We will be doing the practical today, and we'll start with the step number one. So what we need to do first here, we need to create the vendor account group, and this vendor account group will have a number range assignment. We'll also have the number range after this step. So the next step is step number two is regarding the vendor number range. After that, we will be assigning that number into the vendor account group, and then we'll be creating the GL, and after that we will start creating the vendor master data. So post creation of your vendor master data, you will be able to post the business transaction for a vendor like what? Like the purchase invoice, payment invoice. Here we are doing the payment to the vendor, so that is the outgoing payment. So let's start with the step number one, and this can be done through the path and the transaction code also. So let's follow the transaction code OBD3. You can just see we have already vendor account group IDs in the system, and all these account group ID we can maintain up to the 4 characters, that is the length provided by the SAP, and it can be alphanumeric. This account group ID length can be alphanumeric. Then after that we need to give the description. So here we have these many account group. We can create our own account group as well. And for this, we can click on the new entry button. We need to give the account group ID. So let's have here the account group ID same as our company code ID. It is 2244. This is what vendor account group for 2244. Then after that, you can just see here we have the one-time checkbox. So one-time like vendors are those vendors with whom we will be dealing for the single time. Will have a single transaction with them. So for this reason, because will not have our day-to-day transaction with them. So what we will be doing, will not be creating the master data. So we'll be creating a consolidating account, or I would say a general account. And through that general account, that is called as one-time account, so we can process a business transaction for the different vendors, one-time vendors. So it is saying that you want to create the one-time vendor or regular vendor. Here we want to create the regular vendor, and for the regular vendor account, we need to deselect this checkbox, and after that you can just see we have the field status option. So remember yesterday we have discussed that the vendor master data will have a three set of data. Like your GL master data has two set of data. One is the chart of account data and second is the company code data. Same way, when you are going to create the vendor master data, you will come across three set of data. First is your general data. General data means that kind of information for your vendor which is applicable to all the company code. Company code specific, which is related to a particular company code only. That vendor information is related to company code information, like company code level only we maintain this information. And purchase data, which is owned by the and it is maintained by the purchase department of the company. So we can go to the general data. In the general data, if I need to find out what kind of fields we will come across, so you need to go to the relevant group also. So for example, if I go to the address, in the address you will have these many fields. So here you can just see we have the fields on the page number 1. If you want to go to the page number 2, you can click on this pay down button, or you have been given the option on your keyboard also. You can press page down. It will show you the next set of fields. So any field, you can just see this time we have the field status with 4 status option. Okay. So normally we have seen the GL field status, we have seen the 3 options like suppress, required, option. But here for your vendor master data, you can just see you have one more option added, so that is the display. So display means that field will be only used for the display purpose. You will not be able to make any changes in that. You will not be able to add any value in that. Why? Because it is only for the display purpose. So any field you want to put it as a display, or you want to like give the status as display only, then you will not be able to, or anybody would not be able to make the changes in the vendor master data for that particular field. So this suppress required option, so this we have already worked. Okay. Now we can come out of here. Likewise, you can, if you go to the communication, it will show you the field for the communication group. Then we have the next group field. So we have here the name of the group is, it is the control data. Then after that we have the payment transaction group. Under that we have these many fields. Now we can just come out of here, and what we want to do, we want to go to the company code data. In the company code data, we can go to the account management, and in this account management field, we have in this account management group, we have these many fields. Okay. Now out of these field, we want to put this reconciliation account field as a required field. What is the reconciliation account? I'll let you know. So first you will just save it, and here we have a PPT with the reconciliation account name. So we open it. Reconciliation account. What do you mean by the reconciliation account? Let's understand. I'll give you the example. Okay? You will be able to understand it. So you can just see on your left side you have the reconciliation account. On your right side you have the subledger account. Subledger accounts are not but your supplier's account or vendor account. Okay. So here you have maintain a single account, a reconciliation account, which is going to take the information from all your subledger. Okay. So for example, here in this reconciliation account, we have linked 100 subledgers. So in those 100 subledger, whatever the business transaction you are doing, whether it is the purchase or the payment or the purchase return, so all those transactions system is going to capture under the reconciliation account automatically. Why? Because those transactions we are manually input in this subledger account. So here we have two vendor. We have vendor X and vendor Y. In the X, for your vendor X, you made a purchase of 1000. You made a outgoing payment of 500. For the vendor Y, you made a purchase of 10,000. You made a payment to him 5,000. Now, at any given point of time, if you need to know what is the total purchase we have for both of these two vendors, or what is the total balance outstanding we have for both of these two vendors, so how we can come to know? So first we need to go to the X account, then we need to go to the Y account, and we'll make a total, and then we can come to know. It is easy if we have like few accounts, but if we have in the real time 1000, 2000 account, and also in that the transactions are being processed in the real time, so it would be difficult to like take all the count and make a sum. So for this reason, SAP has given us this reconciliation account on the left side. So whatever the transaction you will be doing in your subledger or automatically, that is a normal feature, those transactions would be part of your reconciliation account. Automatically, it will get fed to the reconciliation account. So here you can just see under the reconciliation account, system has captured the total purchase from the vendor X, total purchase from the vendor Y. So it is 11,000. Total payment we have made to both X and Y, it is 5500, and 5500 is the balance amount. So this is the use of the reconciliation account we can have. So what it is asking, it is saying about the reconciliation account. So it is saying that this reconciliation account is a controlling account, or it is a control account maintained in the GL to post all the business transaction affected in the subledger. So remember FS00 transaction code you have to create the GL account. Okay, so this reconciliation account is nothing but your GL account, and this GL account will get the business transaction from where, from your subledger. What is the subledger we are using? Vendor. It is saying that it is used to know the total amount of vendors payable by the company at any given point of time. So at any given point of time, if I need to know my total outstanding, my total payment made to the vendor, what is the balance amount, so that information we can come to know with the help of this reconciliation account. That is the main feature of this reconciliation account. Then it is saying that the data we have in this reconciliation account, we can also use it for the balance sheet purpose, and we cannot post the direct entry into the reconciliation account. So that is also a main feature. If you try to use this reconciliation account for the manual posting, so system will give you the error message that the manual posting is not allowed. Why? Because the posting is allowed in the subledger, and through the subledger this reconciliation account will get the transaction. we'll also see in the system, so it will be more clear to you. So it is saying that once you have created this vendor account group, let's maintain the number range. And vendor number range we can maintain with the help of transaction code XKN1, enter. And then we can click on the change in table button. After that, we need to click on the add in table button. What we are doing here, actually, we have created a vendor account group, and in that vendor account group, if we have decided that we'll have 100 vendors, so what should be the account number of those 100 vendors, so that for that we need to maintain a number range. So here we are maintaining that number range. So if we can just see, we have the number range, it is, let's see, you can just see we have 23, and for this 23 number range is starting from 600, 200 to 600, 250. So what I'll take, I'll just take this number range 600 to 250, click on the add interval, and number range ID we need to give it here, it is, let's say, 44. Then we have the number range starting, it is starting with 600 to 51 to 600, 300. What does it mean? It means that whenever I will be creating the vendor account, so the system is going to give me the vendor account number from 251, then 252, then 253. So this is how we will be getting the vendor account number under our account group. So here, if it is going to be external or internal, so it is going to be internal. Internal means system is going to give us the vendor account number automatically, so we don't need to give it manually. Okay. So if we need to give it manually, then we need to select this external option. So normally we select here the internal, enter, press enter button, and then we can save it. Click on the save option. Now this number range you are going to assign to your vendor account group, and that is the next step, step number 3. Okay. And once you maintain this number range, you should get this message. Press enter button. That is saying that the changes have been made. Now go to the next step, step number 3, and assign the vendor account group with the numbering. Give me 1 second, I'm just coming. Okay, so we have the step 3, and transaction code is OBS. Transaction code is OBS. Enter. You can just see the title. It is saying that assign the vendor account group to your number range. Click on the position button and find out the account group, vendor account group we have maintained. 2244. Number range we have maintained 44, and then we can save it. Click on the save option and then enter. Then we can go to the step number 4. We need to define the tolerance group for the vendor. What is this tolerance group? Remember, actually, we have discussed that we the tolerance group which we have maintained the basic setting. So that we can post the GL posting. Okay. Here the tolerance group we have for the outgoing payment to the vendor, and for that we need to run transaction code OBA3. Let's have the transaction code OBA3. Enter. And then we need to add our company code. Click on the new entry button. Outgoing payment we want to make for which company code? For 2244 vendor, like company code vendor. And then this is what tolerance group for 2244. Tolerance group field we will keep it as blank. Enter, save, and then enter. Then after this, we have step number 5, where we will be creating the GL. So we'll be creating here two GL. One is the raw material consumption. So we'll be procuring the material. Second, we'll be procuring this material from whom? From the vendor. And for that, vendor creation, we need the reconciliation account. So we'll be creating here the reconciliation account. So let's first create the raw material consumption account. And for this raw material consumption GL, we can go to the FS00 transaction code. We'll be giving the, because this raw material consumption we will be maintaining as expense account. So let's have it the expense account group, and that expense account group number in we have maintained from 400,000 to 499. So let's have here the first GL under this account group expense. It is 400,000, and then we can click on the new entry button. Here we can have the account group as expense. Type is going to be P&L, and name we can have as raw material consumption, raw material consumption GL. We can go to the control data option, select only balance in local currency, line item display, then we can have 001 posting date. So normal setting, okay, nothing different. Then we can go to the bank interest tab G01. So this is the GL we have it for the raw material consumption. Now we can go to the another GL creation, and this time we can create the reconciliation account. For the reconciliation account, what we need to do, we need to consider the account group as liability, and liability account group range we maintain from 100,000 to 1999. Okay, so I'm going to take the GL number between this number range only, 100,000 to 1999. So let's have here the number as 1, 100, 500, and then we can go to the type and description. Is liability because this is like this is a obligation account. So we need to pay to our vendor, and this number in you can just see this 105 or this account number 100,500 falls under the number range from 100,000 to 199, and that is linked to the liability only. So let's have the balance sheet account and give the name as, you can give the name as account payable account, or you can payable account, or you can also give the name as sundry. Sundry means collection. Total. Total creditor means to whom you need to pay the payment. So creditors are also your total suppliers. Okay. So total suppliers or sundry creditors, we have sundry creditor account, and then because this account we need to maintain as a reconciliation. So what are the features we have for the reconciliation GL? So we need to go to the control data option. Here we will not select only balance in local currency. We will deselect the checkbox, and then you can just see here we have been given the recon account type. Because it is a recon account. So for this recon account, what should be the account type ID? So we have been given these options. So we can select here the option as vendor. Because this reconciliation account you are going to create for your customer also, asset also. Okay, so because we are doing the account payable accounting, so we can take it here the account type as ID as vendor. After that we need to select the checkbox for the line item display, sort key 001. Then we can go to the bank interest tab. Field status group, we can take it as reconciliation account, and for the reconciliation account this field status group ID we have been given as G067. You can just see the pretty sheet. Okay, so here also we have this information. Mm, okay, it is blank. Short key field status group, it is blank. So you can just write it on your notes. Okay. So the field status group ID we can have it is G00. It is G067. G067. Reconciliation account. Enter, save. So this is how we have created the reconciliation GL. What next we need to do? post creating the GL master data, so we have now the step number 6, vendor master data. Vendor master data is nothing but your subledger account. In order to create the subledger account, we have transaction code XK01. So let's have the transaction code XK01. If you go to the vendor master data in the menu, we have the option that you can go for the change option. So if you just see, this is the vendor master data, and here you can just see you will have the option that you can create a new vendor. You can change the information in your vendor master data, display the information in your vendor master data. If you want to block any vendor for any reason, so you can block the vendor. So for example, this vendor should not be allowed or in this vendor we don't need to make the, we are not supposed to create the invoice, so we can put a block on the invoice. Then mark for deletion. So here, for the creation of your vendor account, what we need to do, we need to provide the company code ID and account group ID. When we need to use a purchase group ID or this purchase organization ID, purchase organization ID will be using when we are having the integration of FI with MM. So in this, we need to create the vendor that is to be maintained at a purchase organization level. And in the purchase organization level, so we provide the PO currency. So in the simple words, when we are doing the direct posting in the FI, then we don't need to mention this purchase organization field, it will keep blank. But when we will be posting the invoice based on the purchase order, so that we'll see when we are doing the integration of FI with the MM. In that case, we need to set this vendor at a third level also, that is the purchase organization. And in this purchase organization, we will be having many fields which are to be managed by whom, which are to be managed by the MM consultant or the purchase department. But one field is relevant for us, that is the PO currency. So here the PO currency we will not be entering because we need to, like, we right now we are not doing the integration of FI with the MM. Okay, so we will be doing the direct posting within the FI. And in order to make the direct posting, we need to only just mention the company code ID, account group ID. If vendor number is required, no, because vendor number will be provided by the system, because we have opted for the internal number assignment. In case of internal number assignment based on your vendor account group numbering, system will give you the vendor number automatically. So you press enter button, it will take you to the vendor master data. We have been given the multiple screen. So one by one, we can go to the relevant screen, which are important for the FI purpose. We have the general information, we have the vendor name, and we have the vendor address, postal code, city, bank, not the bank. So here we have the PO box, mobile, telephone fax. So this is the general information. And in this general information, we need to write here the name of the vendor as Epson, or let's say Canon printer. Then we can give the address, city, country code. Then because it has many screens, okay, you can navigate from one screen to another screen with the help of these two apps. This is the address data. Now go to the next set of data, next screen, which is related to the intercompany transaction. If you are doing the intercompany transaction, remember in the basic setting we have first step where we created the account group ID, okay, that company ID. I just told you that it is the internal trading partner. So if you want to do the intercompany transaction, so for that we use this trading partner option. Now here we can also maintain the text information for your vendor. Then we can go to the next screen. You can just see we need to provide the bank information for our vendor. Okay, so your vendor may have multiple banks. In that case, we need to give the information in which country he has a bank. Okay, so for example, here we have the country as US, and in this we have our vendor, and vendor has maintained the bank key. Banky is nothing but the IFSC code or your routing code, routing ID. So here we can give the route ID. It is, let's say, it is 2244, and here we maintain the 9-digit ID 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1, and account number we need to maintain 10-digit account number. Let it be same as your bank key, but followed with the digit 0. So this is the vendor account number, bank account number. Account holder field you can keep it as blank and then press enter button. Here system is asking for the bank name. So let's have the HSBC, or let's say Citibank. New York, New York. Then press enter button, and then we can go to the next button. You can just see next button. So here we are in the account information. So this tab is important for us because here we will be linking the reconciliation account. So press F4 key, it will show you the list of reconciliation account. Because we have maintained a single account, it will show you the account number as 100 500, and then we need to give the sort key, let it be 001 posting date, and cash management group, because it is coming as a mandatory field. So we can press F4 key and we can assign the cash management group ID as A1 domestic payments. Then we can go to the next tab and we can give the terms of payment. So we'll see the terms of payment in the next topic, but for the time being I'm going to take the terms of payment as 0001. As per the 0001, if we do the purchase today, we need to make the payment to the vendor today only. Then vendor, you can just see we have the option like the payment method. So this we'll see later, but for the time being we are going to save this vendor information. You can just see here your vendor field is coming as internal. Internal means as per the internal numbering system is going to give you the account number for this vendor Canon printers. Okay. So we'll get the account number based on our number range. And numbering we have maintained to the vendor account group. So we can maintain the vendor account group as internal vendors or domestic vendors, then foreign vendors. So these kind of account group we can maintain. After doing this step number 6, we have the step number 7. Before we go to the step number 7, it is saying that you can also explore the option with respect to the vendor master data. So what is that? So you can just make the changes in your vendor master data with the help of XK02. You can display your vendor information with the help of XK03. Only display feature will happen, so we will not be able to make any changes. Then you can just see the changes made by you or made by somebody else with the help of XK04. You can block your vendor, you can put your vendor for mark for deletion. So here we can just see we got the vendor number. It is 600 251 number. Okay. So why the system has given this 600 251 number? Why not some other number? What is the reason? Because the numbering assignment we have made with the vendor account group, that is starting from 600 251 to 600 300. That is the numbering we maintain. Okay. So because this is the first vendor, the system has given us this number 600 251. This is what? This is your subledger account. So whatever the day-to-day posting you will have for this subledger, and this subledger will feed your reconciliation account we maintain as 100 500. We'll see also. So let's start the business transaction. Before we start the business transaction, it is saying that what kind of business transaction you will have with your vendor. So we'll be having the business transaction like purchase, then outgoing payment. So for this purchase and outgoing payment, we need to identify the document type. For purchase, we have the document type KR. This is a standard document type. Then for the outgoing payment, we have the document type KZ. And for the other vendor posting like the purchase return or advance payment, so we have the document type as KA. So we need to have these document type, and for these document type, we need to provide the number range. So how we can maintain the numbering for these document type? For that, we need to go to the transaction code OBA7. So let's have the transaction code OBS7, enter, and then you can just click on the position button, search for the document type ID. It is KR. So you can just see it is showing you for the KR that it is used for the vendor invoice. So we can double click on this, and then we can just see here the number range is coming as 19. Okay. In case if it is not coming 19 in your server, you will manually enter as 19 and then click on the save option. Then after that you need to click on the number range information button, give the company code ID, in our case 2244, display interval, no, go to the change interval, and then we can click on the add interval. So here we are going to add the interval. What is the number range we need to maintain for this? So we'll have the number range ID as 90 because this is what system is showing us in the previous screen. Year is 2023. Interval I'm going to maintain it is from, let's say, 1901 to, it is 1900 or 19 all 9, 19 all 9. Enter. Or what we do, so here it is saying that it is overlapping with your first number range 01. So we can have the next number range ID. It is from, last was 21. Okay, so let's have the next one as double two all 01 to double two all 9. Enter. So this also we have given. Let's have here 23 all 01 23 all 9. So here we have maintained this for 19. We maintain this number range. Now you can click on this. So this number range we have for what? Whatever the purchase invoices will be posting. So for those purchase invoices, system will be giving the number from this number range. Okay. Then after that, it is saying that for outgoing payment and for the other business transaction also, we need to maintain the number range. We need to now go back and click on position, search for the document type KZ, which is used for the outgoing payment. Go to the detail option. You observe here the number range is 15. Click on the number information button. Give your company code ID. Go to the change interval, add interval. What is the number range system is just showing us? 15. Year is 2023. And number range information we can maintain here. It is from 24 all 9, 24 all 0, 1 2, 24 all 9. Enter, save, enter. Then once again we can go back for our next document type, which is KA. We will observe the number range. Go to the detail option. It is 17. Click on the number information button. Give company code ID. Go to the change interval. Add interval. Number range ID 17, year 2023, and number range information we have from 25 all 01 to 25 all 9. Enter, save. So now we have maintained the numbering for all our document type. Then what next we need to do? So we need to start posting the business transaction. Business transaction for your vendor, that is called the purchase invoice. It is also a AP invoice. For the AP invoice, what we need to do? We need to have here the transaction code ID F-43. So enter transaction ID F-43. You can just see the title. You can enter what? Vendor invoice. And in the vendor invoice also, you will have for your document two segments, header and line item. In the header, we have again the same set of information: document date, posting date, document type, period. But here, if you just observe for your vendor, which document type system has taken automatically KR. Okay, so that is for the purchase. Now we can have here the document date as today's date, company code ID, period system is taking from the posting date, then the currency is USD. We want to make this transaction in USD only, local currency. What is our vendor? If you don't know the vendor number, press F4 key. It will take you for your company code. It will show you all your vendors. Since we maintain a single vendor, it will come as 600,251 vendor. Okay. So we can see here the name. Press F, press double click on this, and then we can press enter button. You will also observe here the posting key is coming as 31. 31 we use for which account type? Vendor. And what we can do with the posting key 31 for the vendor, we can credit to the vendor. Enter, and we can give the amount. Let's see how much it is, 13,000, or let's say 18,000. This is what text is purchase invoice. 40 posting key we need to use. 40 is debit. Debit for what? Debit is for the GL account. GL account number, we can give it here the raw materials consumption account. Now you can just see here we got the error, and this error is saying that you can't enter more than 200 USD dollar. So why this error has come? How we can fix it? You go to the OBA 4 and search for 2244 company code and go to the retail option. You can just see here we maintain here the amount limit for the AP invoices up to 200 USD dollar. Okay, that is the reason. So let it be 9999. Enter, save. Now we can again go back, enter. I need to give the detail once again. F-43, header information, vendor number, amount, and this is what purchase invoice. 40 posting key we have for the consumption GL, which is 400,000. So we are debiting this consumption GL, and amount is 18,000 or asterisk, whatever. Either one you can use, and then you can mention here the text ID as plus, text as plus, overuse the entry, and then we can save it. Click on this AP document. This is the FI document. You can just see system has given you your purchase document number as 23001. If you want to display, if you want to make some changes, so you have here the option. Okay, so let's display. So you have here the header information, line item information. Now what do? You check the vendor account balance. So you will check with this posting if the vendor account balance has changed or not. So how to check the vendor account balance? In the practice sheet, we have the next step. It is saying that first you check the line item, then we can check the vendor account balance. And how to check the AP line item? To check the AP line item, we have the transaction code FBL1N. Remember FBL 3N you used for the G line item. Here in place of 3, we will be using 1 for the AP line item. Press enter button. Give the vendor account number for which you want to see the line item, and then click on the execute button. Now for your vendor you will have the line item display, and this line item display system will just show you with the red indicator and with the green indicator. If it is showing you the red indicator, it means it is open. If it is a green indicator, so this entry, so that particular line item doesn't need any further action. Okay. So if you want to see the open item only, then you can keep the radio button on open item. If you want to see the cleared line item only for the vendor, then you can keep the radio button on the cleared line item. But if you want to see both, then you can select on all option and then click on the execute button. You can just see here system is just showing the line item 18,000 but coming with the red signal. Why it is coming with the red signal? Because further action is required. What is the further action? This is the purchase we made it with amount 18,000. We need to also do the outgoing payment. Outgoing payment to whom? To the vendor. So when we will make that transaction, when we will make the payment, what will happen? So this red will get converted into green. So it means we don't need to do further action for this business transaction. That's what it means. Now it is saying that if you want to see the complete transaction, because this is only a line item, you want to see the complete document, select this checkbox, click on this glasses, and then go overview. It will show you the complete accounting document, okay, where we have the header line item. But if you want to go back to the line item only, so this is how we can see the line item. Now, what next we need to do? It is saying that let's see the subledger account balance. In order to see the subledger account balance or vendor account balance, we can run transaction code fk10n. So I will run here fk10n, fk10n. So we have this vendor. Okay, for this vendor, we need to find out the balance. Click on the execute button. It will show us the period-wise balance. So for example, for the April, for May, June, July, or I would say for the first period, second period, third period, fourth period, so what is the balance it will show us. So because we made this transaction in which month? May, and May falls under as per the calendar year, it is under the fifth period. So that is the reason system is showing you for the fifth period. Coming, we have the credit entry with amount 18,000. So why it is coming on the credit side? Because all our liability obligation we maintain on the credit side, and when we are reducing those obligation, we are reducing a liability, that amount we have on the debit side. For example, all your purchases you will have on the credit side, all your payments, outgoing payments or purchase return you will have on the debit side. Then after that you will have the final balance. So here we have the cumulative balance. Now what next we need to do? It is saying that let's do the payment. So this time we are doing the outgoing payment to the vendor. Step number 12, let's have here the payment F-53. So you can just see this is the outgoing payment, and for this outgoing payment which document type we want to use, KZ, and what is the rate? Latest today's rate, and we have the account information. So you can just see here also we have the account information. Okay. So what do you mean by this account? So you can just see it comes under the bank data. Bank data means we need to maintain either here the cash GL or bank GL. So let's have the cash GL 200 100. Actually we are doing the outgoing payment. So this outgoing payment you are doing from with GL. That GL we need to maintain here. Then we have to make the payment to the vendor 18,000, and this is what payment to the vendor. Which vendor? If you don't know, press F4 key. System will just show you the list, and from that list you can select the relevant vendor. In our case, we have a single vendor. Select 600 251. You can just see there is a process open item button. You click on this process open item button, or even if you click enter button, it will take you to the same screen. Next screen. Now we can save it. Click on the save option. You see here we got the payment document number. It is 24001. Your purchase document number was 23001, but it is 24001 because for the payment we have a different number in, for purchase we have a different number in. That is the reason. Now again, if you want to view this document, go to the menu document display. You can just see this document. After this document, if there is any change in the subledger account balance, yes, we can see this, or also in the vendor line item. So first let's check the vendor line item with bill on it. Vendor is 600 251. All line item execute. You can just see this time it is showing you the two line item coming with the green signal. So this is what KR means purchase and KZ means payment. So this transaction close here. Okay, so we don't need to do further action on this. Why? Because this is the total purchase we have made, total payment, and we got the clearing document number. So this got cleared. Okay. If you just observe here, the clearing document number is same as your payment document number. And this payment document number system has given us the clearing, and this clearing document system has mapped against the purchase invoice as well as the payment invoice. Now we need to find out with this subledger entry if we got any balance change in the main GL account. How to check the GL account balance for your reconciliation account? Transaction code ID is FS10N, same as your GL ID because it is a GL ID only or GL number or GL account. So here we maintain the reconciliation account number as 100 500. So let's enter here 100 500. See the balance. Click on the execute button. You can just see we have not posted any manual transaction. So manual transaction we have posted where, or the direct transaction we posted into the subledger, that is 600 251, and that 600 251 has also it has fed to, or it has also like given the sent the information to this reconciliation account. So we can see here 18,000 on both sides. Okay. So this is what system will update automatically. This we don't need to post manually. So here we have seen a scenario that we made a purchase of 18,000 and we made a payment of 18,000. Okay, but in the real time it doesn't happen. So we made a purchase of 18,000, against that we are making a payment of 11,000, 5,000, 4,000, 2,000. So in that case, how we need to process it? For that we have been given the option as partial payment. So we under this partial payment we have been given two methods. So one is the partial payment method, second is the residual payment method.